Never Have I Ever.
Presented by Stillafrog.
Marva. That's what this one had been dubbed. Living where we lived, enjoying the coastalness of life near the water, the occasional hurricane and evacuation were just realities with which we had to, on occasion, contend. Fortunately, our little stretch of paradise had, for the most part, evaded disaster. That was about to change. According to what we could gather from local news, the traffic on the interstate heading inland was expected to give stop and go a whole new meaning. In fact, the newscaster had said, "Bring breakfast, lunch, and dinner because you're going to be there a while, folks." In this emergency life or death evacuation, we were being encouraged to carpool. So my husband's best friend Sean and his live-in love Lisa were coming with us. I didn't really know Lisa all that well. The occasional party or dinner out, she seemed nice enough, and given Sean's track record, the fact that this was one with whom he now actually cohabitated was nothing short of a miracle. In college, the guy's nickname had been Sir Late-A-Lot, for crying out loud. "They weren't joking," my husband griped. "I think my top speed in the past hour has been like 8. Lines and lines of cars, SUVs, and trucks, a parade all pointing in the same direction, each a universe unto themselves as we headed for the hinterlands." "I say we break out the booze." Sean always came prepared. "Did you manage to pack anything at all of importance?" I asked, after seeing an entire duffel filled with nothing but bottles. "Yep, I brought the booze," he smirked. "We have to pass the time somehow, and fortunately for me, I'm not the one driving," he chuckled. "Thanks a lot, man," my husband sarcastically replied. What the hell, if our current trajectory and rate of speed were any indicators, we'd be at the Super 8 in a mere 14 hours. Pass the Long Island iced tea, please. It's amazing how much more pleasurable not moving in a bottleneck that extends to the end of the universe can be when one is highly buzzed. My poor hubby. Here the three of us were, undoubtedly feeling pretty good, an hour or so into Sean's top-shelf stash, and he was sweating it out behind the wheel, trying to claim every inch of asphalt he could. Needless to say, I think he was growing just a bit annoyed. "Hey, I know," Sean said, his words a little wobbly. "Let's play Never Have I Ever. This way our long-suffering DD can join in too." "Great idea, genius. How am I supposed to play a drinking game while driving?" he snarked. Strange, that hadn't occurred to any of us. "Oh, wait, it's because we were all half in the bag." "We'll do it strip poker style," Sean suddenly interjected. "You might get to see my girlfriend topless." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw that Lisa looked decidedly uncomfortable. "Better yet, I might get to see your wife naked," he chuckled. I realized with a start that I was the only one not layered, not wearing a jacket, no accessories, not even a watch for God's sake. But Sean was on a roll. "Okay, ready. In honor of my best bud here taking one for the team, never have I ever driven drunk." Sean removed his ball cap. Lisa proceeded to take off a shoe. My husband and I just sat there. "Well, then we know who the do-gooders are in this car," Sean quipped. "All right, Lisa, your turn," he forged ahead. "Never have I ever been arrested," Lisa said, unenthused. Sean took off a shoe, as did I. "What?" My husband turned to me. "Oh, it was high school. A bunch of us senior year painted a bridge in town. We got a week of community service," I sloppily grinned. This premixed Long Island iced tea stuff was good. "And you?" I questioned Sean. "Public indecency," he laughed. "Got drunk at a concert, made a left instead of a right, and mistook the sinks in the girls' room for urinals." Vodka came spraying out of Lisa's nose. Whatever may have been bugging her, even she laughed at that one. The questions got funnier and a tad raunchier as the car ride slowed and seemingly lengthened. Within 45 minutes, Sean was down to a t-shirt and jeans. No socks. Lisa and my husband were still what you would consider dressed, and then there was I. A t-shirt, panties, and my necklace. That was it. "Well," my better half began, "it seems you've some splainin' to do when we get home," he snickered. "I can't help it that I like to have fun," I said, a little louder than was necessary. "Okay, here's the best one," Sean smirked. Never have I ever knowingly slept with one of my partner's friends. Off came my t-shirt. Now, a lot of gin, or whatever the hell they put in this damn drink, and no food, coupled with a game of unabashed truth-telling, makes for a very dangerous combination. Impaired judgment doesn't really cover it here. More like drunken, obliterated brain on Mexican spring break. "I'm sorry, you just took your shirt off?" my husband questioned, disbelieving. No, no," I managed to mumble, trying desperately to cover my braziered chest with my hands. He slammed on the brakes, which, given that we were going all of 5 miles per hour, made for a far less climactic moment than I think he was intending. "Really? Who?" he inquired in an icy tone. Meanwhile, Lisa and Sean had suddenly statued up in the back seat. "Thanks a lot, guys." "It was before we were married." "Who?" he repeated. "Vance McGregor," I quietly admitted. Note to self. Don't ever drink heavily and play strip never have I ever during a hurricane evacuation with your husband. Just saying. And the second lesson, you shouldn't try to do math in that state either. "Vance McGregor," his voice trembled slightly. "I didn't become friends with him until I started working at North Star." "And," said the stupid, woefully inebriated adulteress being led to the stocks. "That was 5 years ago. We've been married for 6.5. Yeah, so I didn't do those exact calculations in my head. At this point, traffic was backed up even further behind our stopped vehicle, and a barrage of honking horns ensued. I almost felt like getting out, adorned in nothing but my underwear, and taking my chances with Hurricane Marva. I'm pretty sure I would have fared better. I'm sorry," I stammered. "Can we please talk about this some other time? I'm so sorry." We all quietly started to dress. That was the longest frickin' car ride in the history of car rides. I'm talking around the world in 80 days and back the other way. There was total silence. It was excruciating and awkward beyond all description. The Super 8 was flooded. I'm guessing that place never had so many guests at one time except for perhaps during the Upcountry Rodeo and Roadkill Festival. Fortunately, we at least had our own room. My buzz was, by this point, long gone. That sucked. Now it was just me and him. I spent an inordinate amount of time changing into my nightclothes in the bathroom. I was bracing for... I have no idea what I was bracing for. Something straight out of The Shining, or maybe I was about to become the hunted, like in the Hunger Games. Okay, woman up and just go out there and face this. "I'm done in the bathroom," I said, barely above a whisper. He was lying on the bed, on top of the comforter. You had no idea what mysteries the sheets held in a place like this. "Okay, thanks." He was focused intently on his cell. My instinct told me to go over there, beg his forgiveness, and unburden myself even further. Better sense prevailed, however, and I just took a seat on the adjacent bed and observed, "Looks like it's going to rain." "Actually, no, it's not. The storm's changed direction. Turns out we didn't have to evacuate at all," he informed. "Great. So are we going to talk about this? And why aren't you screaming at me? I messed up. I know that. His face was still buried in the phone. Frustrated, I flung a pillow at him. "Hey," he snapped. "Talk to me," I demanded. "Why?" he shot back. "There's nothing to talk about. It's over, right? Ancient history?" "Please, for God's sake, say something. Anything. I'm begging you." "I did the same thing," he said, dropping his phone and looking straight at me. "What?" "I cheated too," he murmured. "What? When?" I said, stone cold sober. "Last night," he answered. "What?" "With Lisa," he responded. "What? How long has it been?" I tremulously uttered. "Almost a year." "I'm sorry," he confessed. "Really? You're sorry? Your sincerity seems a bit underwhelming to me. Is it over now? Is it out of your system? Have you screwed her enough times that you feel like a real man?" I practically shrieked. "Look who's talking," he snapped right back. That was one fucking time, I lashed out. And that makes a difference. Is it over? I repeated. No, it's not. We fought about it long into the night. I don't even remember when we fell asleep. And then sometime in the pre-dawn hours, I awoke to find him holding me. Honestly, I didn't know whether to shove him away or pull him closer, so I did neither. I just lay there. Now what? I whispered to myself. I don't have the faintest idea, he said quietly.